Hi there, in this video I'm going to be having a look at working with these little sketches that I did in a previous video while I was away. I was standing on the side of the sea on the shore, and as you know I like to work by just responding to what's there, not thinking about composition or what's going to happen with them afterwards, just using the time outside for looking and soaking it in, making some marks on the paper, something that I can use later on in the studio. So that's what I'm going to be doing with these. This is very much the kind of thing that I do in my October workshop. So if you're watching this and you fancy having a go at it yourself and you think, oh, I want to know more about the process and how to really get this kind of work for myself, then do check out the link that's here on the screen. My workshop's coming up for 3 weeks in October, and you'll get loads of feedback from me. There's a community group, loads of demonstration and tutorial videos. So if you're interested in that, do check out the link that's here. Okay, let's get on. So I've just got these 3 little sketches that I'm going to be working with. They're the ones that you saw me doing in the previous video, and if you haven't seen that, I'll pop the link up here for you to watch that so you can see how I actually made these while I was away. What I really want to do with them, I'm not necessarily thinking I want to get 3 paintings out of them. I think I'm just going to start working into them, cropping them and seeing what happens. And they're all done at the same time in the same place. So they've got a lot of similarities in the colour and the kind of marks that I was making. So I may end up using some of the marks in different paintings. So I'll see how it goes. I might get a couple out of it, or maybe just 1 even. But there's some quite nice bits. I quite like this blue pastel. It kind of really shines against the darker blue paint there, so I quite like those sorts of marks. There was quite good bits in this one. I like these pink pastel marks that I've got here, and the little splatters where the sea was kind of sparkling, so enjoying those sorts of marks as well. So I'll have a go. I'll choose one to start cropping into, and then I'll see if I want to do any collage as I go. So let's have a look. Okay, so working on this one, just putting a few extra marks on there, trying not to overdo it a bit. I think you have to be a little bit careful sometimes. I like to go back in once I've done a bit of collage and make a few little marks just to tie it together sometimes. Sometimes it needs it, sometimes it doesn't. I just felt like I needed to add a couple of these little marks back where I covered them up, just to reintroduce some of them, and some of these little lighter marks over the top here to have a little bit of movement. But it's, you know, it's really easy to overdo that and to end up repainting the whole thing. And once you know, I never go back in with paint because I feel that, you know, once I've started adding more paint, then I may as well have not bothered being outside in the first place and just making it up in the studio. So I'm trying not to lose the original paintings that I did outside, the spontaneousness of the paintings that I did outside. And I think if you start going back over with loads and loads of paint, then that just goes away, all that kind of spontaneous mark making that I did while I was outside. So yeah, just adding a few extra little marks back in there. It was actually slightly trickier than I was expecting it, but I quite like it now. I really wanted to get, you could probably see in the video where I was cropping and collaging, I was trying to get this light piece to find a place. I knew it was here somewhere. I wanted to get that sense of the light and the colour of the shore, that really kind of intense colour. I mean, maybe it's not quite as intense as it was when I was there, but I think it's got some of the essence of what I saw while I was there, and that's really what I'm trying to do. The reason I used the second painting, I was cropping it up without using it as a starting point. I felt that it was probably the weakest of the three paintings, but it had some quite nice marks in it. So I decided that I'd just tear that up and use it for the marks. I retained the washy blue that I really liked. I wanted to give a little bit more strength and weight to the bottom part of the painting, which is why I added this darker stuff in here to just kind of give it a little bit more of that kind of shoreline, sort of dark rocks weight that was there when I was painting it. So yeah, it's a nice one. And I've got this other one here which I can also use. I'll probably just do the same sort of thing with this, crop it down and start collaging into it to see where it goes. But yeah, I feel like it's got some of the movement, the light and the space and the colour that I saw when I was outside, and that's really what I'm after. I'm not trying to make a picture, I'm not trying to represent all the stuff that was there and everything that was there. Just trying to get something down on the paper and in my sketchbook here that reminds me of what it was like to be there. And I think this does the job. As I was saying earlier, if you're interested in learning how to do this kind of work for yourself, these kind of experimental and exciting compositions, then do check out the link that's here on the screen for my 3-week workshop in October. It's all online. There's loads of tutorials and Q&As. You get feedback on all your work from me. So if you're interested in that, do check out the link. Okay, I'll see you soon.